Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Giant and the Jet Belmont Special, Belmont Stakes Special. The race is tomorrow at Saratoga this year, which we run at 1.25 miles, and not the 1.5 miles usually for a Belmont Stakes. So it's going to be a very competitive field. I thought I'd start out with a couple of facts about the Belmont Stakes for people who are not familiar. Obviously, the fastest horse that ever ran a Belmont Stakes was Dusty. Come on.
Secretary.
That's right. Secretariat in 1973 and 2004. Smarty Jones was going for the Kentucky, the Triple Crown, and it was 15 years, or yeah, 15 years, 26 years since anyone won it, and that was the highest rated Belmont Stakes. 21 million people tuned in to watch it. And the crowd at Belmont
Wow.
Park was 120,000 people. And he came second because the jockey burnt them out too quickly, was
Yeah.
the trainer said. The only girl to ever win a Belmont Stakes was Julie Crone in 1993. There was three fillies, three girls have won the Belmont Stakes in since 19. I believe they started in 1867 was the first Belmont Stakes, believe it or not. And Sir Barton was the first Triple Crown winner. That was in 1930, actually 1926. So that's a little history on the race. Nick, there's an easy goer. You ever hear of easy goer?
Oh yeah.
He ran 122 buyer.
Jesus.
That was the highest buyer number ever for the Belmont Stakes, and it was pretty cool. 23 horses came into the Belmont Stakes with a chance to winning the Triple Crown, and they lost. And then finally in 2015, we had American Pharaoh after 26 years win the Belmont Stakes. So I'll turn it over to Nick if you want to start talking or say something.
Guys, Nick here, back again. I figured we start with just the Belmont. Either we can do the Belmont or we each can pick a race on the undercard and we can talk about it and then finish with the Belmont. Up to you guys.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Sweet. I think the first race is something we can win off. It's a good handicapping race. It's one of those where I think the two best are the 1 and 1A. So for horse racing, this is a good little fun fact for those who don't know in the program. Sometimes a horse can be 1 and 1A. Usually when an owner has two horses in a race. But that bet, that one horse, that when you put in the bet and you put the 1, it counts for both those horses. So either one can come in. So those are kind of fun to bet. Because if you take those two ones away, you bet that. And I like the 8, Will Be Famous. And the 4, and you could really you can really make some money here. Save Us Melania and Sair, they're both owned by Linda Rice, a very, very good owner, very high, well respected. She does very well here in Saratoga. And then Ortiz is on the 4. And he is at 8-1. So I think he gives you some good odds. And with the 8 going off 6-1 right now, if you can get one of those to hop up in your super or your exacta and you key the ones, you can make some decent money on these. Option claiming 50,000. So, a little higher than a little bit higher than the traditional claiming race and to below the graded stakes.
Yeah, Nick, I looked at that race also, Matt, and I agreed with you earlier today. I kind of love that race where you can make some money, and I'm definitely going to be betting that. There's only 8 horses. It's kind of, we have to, I like tomorrow morning we'll get the scratches on the card. It looks like we're going to have some rain up here for tomorrow, and especially tonight we're going to get hit with some thunderstorms. So I'm anticipating that we're going to get some scratches tomorrow, especially in the turf races. So this is a dirt race. I kind of like in that first race, I like the 1-4-8 also. There's only 8 horses, so you can, if you want, you can hit some tries and even play a super, and it won't cost you too much. What do you think, Dust?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you get a Rat Ortiz 8-1 on the morning line, you kind of have to look at it, right? Um, so if he's 8-1, either this horse is an absolute dog, or um, you have a real good opportunity, like Nick said, to find some value and make a little money. I always find these races a little tough because, I mean, we'll use the four, for example, 37 lifetime starts, and I mean, his buyer figures are all over the place.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a little hard to find, some consistency with his form. Um, but it looks like he's on his second or third start with the new trainer. So that sometimes that can add a little bit of life and energy into a horse as well. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's one of those races where, like the three, for example, on that. I mean, is there any major difference between the three and the four? You know, the
Sure.
four has, yeah, they have some higher buyers, but like when the race comes in, no surprise if the four is sitting back at seventh and
Right.
the three comes in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, the
I am a
difference
bit,
is it gets harder when you're going into these graded stakes, like we'll get into later in the program, but there's really no difference between them later.
Mm-mm.
And they're so good and it's so hard to pick. Where these, it's kind of like I'm guessing Ortiz is on this horse for a reason. He thinks he could take it.
Yeah, like I don't think he's going to take a mount if he doesn't think he has a chance to win, you know?
Yeah, he's showing up for a reason here. He thinks he can take this. He doesn't, maybe he thinks the favorites aren't as great, which they are and they aren't. Like even the 1A, Ortiz is on the other one.
Yeah.
Jose's on the other one, and it's the
yeah,
highest buyer for that. It's 82. So
Yeah,
there's no monster here. I guess Save Us Melania would be the real favorite, but
sure.
I always look for one of the things I always look for I look to see if the horse, any horses won the race, and who won the most money at the distance. I found over the years that's how you can pick up a nice long shot, because a lot of people don't look at that, and you don't realize, well, that horse, he might have 10 races, and he's ran twice at 6.5 furlongs, and that could be his distance.
Yeah,
So you're gonna always take a look at that, and that's why I kind of like the 8 horse. He's been in the money at that distance, and the 6 won it also at that distance. So that's the first race. Good betting race.
good
yeah.
betting race.
How many
Um,
races are there this year?
if you want to see, I suggest if you're going to watch horse racing tomorrow, around 3:15, in the 8th race. I mean, it's not a race you're going to make any money, but it's one of the best races. There's 5 horses, and there's White Brio, Fierceness, Raging Torment, Castle Chaos. It's and Just a Touch. I mean, definitely, if you're a horse racing fan, tune into that race at 3:15. It's the 8th race at Saratoga.
Yeah.
It should be an unbelievable race.
It's crazy that a race with horses of that caliber is on an undercard, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I feel bad for the three in there. I think
What is that three doing? What is
I
that
don't know.
poor horse doing in there?
1, 2, 4, and 5 are all between 9 to 5,
No.
5 to 1. I mean,
If he comes third or fourth, he gets a paycheck, right? So
exactly.
you,
Yeah,
you never know,
that's
right?
true.
I think White Fierceness down the stretch. You don't get to see that very often. It's going to be just
No,
that's a
no.
fun thing to race. If for the betters, if you want to bet it, I would just put money on White to win.
Yeah,
You think
He
he's
might
gonna
go
keep
off. He might go off 2-1,
right?
and you can double. You put $50, you can win 100.
yeah,
I mean, it's a famous race. It's the Met Mile. The Met Mile has been going on just as long as probably the Belmont Stakes. It's a $1 million race. So yeah, like that horse, the 3. If he comes third or fourth, he's going to get a couple of $100,000 just for
yeah.
running.
And White obviously Breeders' Cup winner, came in third in the Met in 2023, and ran the field off their feet in the Whitney at Saratoga in 2023.
He
So
all he does is win. I mean, I think he has one of the more like lifetime earnings from in like active racehorses right now.
Yeah,
With
$7 million.
yeah, it's like 7 million right now in active.
Yeah,
Even for how great Fierceness is, he has 2 million more. He's almost 3 million more than Fierceness in
right.
in lifetime earnings. So he's a whenever you see him, you just circle him, you bet him, and you enjoy watching him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you enjoyed the race.
Yeah,
Did you guys take a look at the 11th race at all?
that's what I'm looking at right now. That's the one I'm kind of.
The Woody Stevens? Well, Woody Stevens was a very famous trainer back in the 1970s and 80s. Multiple, grade winning trainer, Kentucky Derbies and Belmont Stakes. So they named
Yeah.
the race after him. And that'll be tomorrow around 5:30, the 11th race. And it's a really nice race. Right, Dusty? You took a look at it? You're looking at it now?
Looking at it right now,
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic.
I mean, to me, there's nothing. I mean, obviously, we love the Belmont and the Travers and all these, big races at Saratoga. But for me, dirt sprints at Saratoga are like races that I absolutely love.
Yeah,
So,
same thing.
um,
That's
and a lot of big names in here. So you got Mattakit Road, who was on the Derby Trail for a little bit. Citizen Bull, of course, who ran in the Derby. So Baffert's got 2 entries in there. I think the 7 scratched Colloquial. I'm pretty sure he's not going
maybe?
to run. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And then, of course, the 9 Neo Equos, who was in the lead into the stretch in the Kentucky Derby. I was absolutely terrified when Larry Colmus made the call. I was like, I was watching it and literally out loud I go, Neo Equos, what?
Yeah.
And then obviously everybody ran him down and he finished 13th. But I was like, this is not good. So it's a really good field.
It is.
I'm
And
really excited to watch
the racing form loves the 11.
What's that?
I love Gate to Wire. I'm a
I
huge
know.
fan
I
of
mean,
Gate to Wire.
but his numbers are not that good, Nick.
I know, but he beat me he's beaten me before.
Okay.
Uh, that's what
I met
happened.
I met a couple of the owners of him the other day.
Okay.
Oh.
Of him?
Of Gate to Wire, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're minority. They were minority owners, but
It's funny. Like he's the perfect example of what I was saying, right? They had
So
this horse. He lost in the slop. He lost on turf. He lost at a mile and a 16, but he he did one race at 7 furlongs and he got a 93 buyer and won. So
yeah.
that's something you have to look at,
so Dusty Emilio, for this 11th race, if you guys were going to key 2 horses up top for an exacta, who are you thinking you're going to key here?
Boy.
I'm going to do 11-5.
Yeah,
I think Citizens Bull throw out the Derby. He's been running pretty well, and the cutback in distance, it's going to help him a lot.
Yeah.
So that's who I would take. I would go with the 11 because you guys like them, and I would take the 5.
I think the 5 is better than the 2 in terms of the 2 Baffert runners. So I would probably agree with that. I'd go 11-5.
Okay.
No love for the 3, no love for Macho Music, the highest last buyer.
Yeah. I mean, if there's rain tomorrow, I mean, because he won in the slop against a couple of these horses on Derby Day, so you might have to respect him and throw him in there also.
Hey, Saratoga has no luck with weather on big races.
I know.
I do think it's going to rain early in the morning and then stop, if that's any condolence.
That'll help. Especially because if the sun comes out, it's pretty warm. It's been higher 80s this week, so that track will dry out pretty quickly. We went to the Belmont last year. We all went, right? Mike, were you there?
I was there. The bathroom line was like 2 hours long.
Yeah, it was so poorly run. Unfortunately, they bring up all the New York people to run the Belmont Stakes. They don't let the people who normally run it during the summer. And they put as many people as they possibly can into that track.
It was
I heard tables were going for $500 this year.
Oh my God.
Easy. easy.
The picnic tables.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, we were around this. Remember last week we were around this group of people. Oh my God. They smoked pot from the minute they got there until they left. And the smell was giving me such a headache. It was unbearable. I'm never
Yeah.
going back. I will never go to a Belmont Stakes in Saratoga. I'll stay home in bed. Unless Nick drags me there tomorrow.
Yeah, unless he twist my arm. Guys, we've covered races. We've covered races 1, 8, and 11, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm keeping track.
Yeah. I also kind of like the 9, the race number 9, the Jiper. So turf sprint, but I think like Nick and Emilio said, if there's a lot of rain, you'll probably see some scratches out of these turf races, but pretty good field here too. The 5 Arzak came second in the same race last year on Belmont weekend. Coppola was in that race, so there's a lot of
Yes.
I like the 2-3-5 in the ninth race.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the
I
2.
think I'm pretty sure in that race last year, I think that was the Asmussen horse set the course record at Saratoga in that race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
I think that 3 horse in this ninth race can be I think that's one of those horses where you can make some money on it.
Yeah,
Morning line 8-1. He has Saez on as a jockey, world class jockey there.
yeah,
And he has these 100 buyers. Like when he was in a top form, he ran 98, 100, 100. Right.
yeah,
And then he came off a layoff. He ran at Tampa, 85. Then he ran up and ran a G2 and ran like an 89, 90. And this is his third race. I always like horses on their third off a layoff.
me too.
Right. It's
Right.
usually when they're primed up. That's usually when you're getting some of your better, higher numbers.
Yeah,
And I like him here. I think he can. I think he can close this field a little bit.
yeah,
Tricky because he has those 2 races back in the last year, one at Saratoga where he ran 100 buyer. Again, the buyer numbers tell you how fast horses are. So,
yeah.
but other than that, he's definitely. I have a question mark. It's funny. I put a question mark right here. But he's either you're gonna pick what number you're gonna use, the 200 or the 174.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you get the 200, yeah, you got to throw him in.
It's one of those I could look like an idiot on Saturday because he could be again like one of those. He could be dead last, and I'm like, "Where's the 3? Where's Nick's 3?
Where's the 3?
He's dead last because I'm an idiot." But
You're definitely gonna have to wait until tomorrow on any turf race to see who's scratching out. If it rains too much, they might have to take them off the turf.
Yeah.
The
The 2 horse ran on Derby Day too, and actually brought me back. I was one race away from going underwater, and then I hammered a massive exacta with him in first, and brought myself back to even.
yeah, that 2. I mean, that 2 should win. He's on a 3-horse, 3 race winning streak.
Yeah.
Same jockey. This is his race.
Yeah. Twirling candies in turf sprints. I always tend to circle them. They always tend to do well.
I mean, you got to bet the 2. Think big.
Yeah.
Start with him, and then and then eliminate horses. Right.
Yeah.
The key is in every race is who can you eliminate, and in that race I only have the 6 and the 7. So out of 10, I still have to deal with 8 horses. So I'm hoping I get a couple of scratches and I can narrow that field down.
I like the 9. The 9.
Want to
The 9.
that race.
I don't think just before we leave it off, don't leave the 9 away. Has twirling candy as well.
Yeah.
Has the highest buyer overall lifetime at a 106. He can win. He could definitely, and he's
got Flavian Pratt, who
Flavian Pratt as well.
broke the record last year for most graded stakes victories in a single year.
Yeah, the 9's a monster.
Yeah,
I agree.
right.
Okay.
Right,
That's
guys.
good. So we gave you
We've
4
done race
races
1,
that you can look at.
1, 8, 11, and 9. Do we want to do any other races, or you want to do the Belmont Stakes? I don't mind doing another race. It's up to you guys.
No, I'm good. I'm just going to bet maybe three or 4 races, and I like the first race. I'm not going to bet the 8. I
Yeah,
like the Woody Stevens, and I like that sprint turf race, the 9th race.
Yeah.
I just need to see. I like the 2-9, and I'm hoping I get a couple of scratches, and I can put a nice super in.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Belmont Stakes. You guys want to go horse by horse?
Yeah, it shouldn't take that long.
Go ahead, Dust.
All right, I guess I'll jump right in with the one, Hill Road, trained by Chad Brown. Arad Ortiz got the call on this one. Interesting to see. I mean, I guess a little part of me, right, wants to see this horse run well. You know, Chad Brown, the local guy at Saratoga, never won a Belmont. You know, I'd like to see it happen. It'll eventually happen, I think. I don't know that this is the horse, though. You know, ran a 94 Byers last time out in the Peter Pan. He's in a little deeper water here against these guys, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I'd probably put him in third and fourth. If I'm playing a super, I have him in third and fourth just to cover myself. But I don't know that he's going to hit winner place. So
Yeah, you know, it's a Chad Brown. You almost kind of want to root for him, but it's can he handle this distance? Probably not.
yeah, he had a weird crop of 3-year-olds this year. Like, you know, last year he had Sierra Leone, and this year he had obviously Hill Road, and then in one of the other races he's got Chancellor McPatrick, and they've just kind of been a little underwhelming in my opinion. So I'm not huge on him, but I wouldn't be shocked if he won either.
Yeah, I don't see Hill Road winning. Chad Brown is mostly a turf
Yeah,
trainer. I mean, that's his specialty. So
turf
I mean,
mares.
he might win a couple of dirt races, but you know, I really zero in on Chad Brown when he's got horses in the turf.
Yeah,
You know, he won the Peter Pan, which is a stepping stone to the Belmont. It's the race before the Belmont. I just don't see him beating the top 3
Yeah.
in this race. I tell you one thing, if you keep an eye on Todd Pletcher horses today and tomorrow, they're putting him into the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
which is right across the street from Saratoga. If you ever been to Saratoga, you can go to the Hall of Fame, which I recommend it to anyone. It's awesome. It's, you know, I've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame and I enjoyed the Horse Racing Hall of Fame just as much. But I'm telling you, they're gonna let him win a couple of races this weekend. So anyway,
Yeah.
I do not like the one. I agree with Dusty. You have to, if you're gonna bet a try or a super, you put him in third and fourth.
yeah.
Okay.
On to horse 2, Bob Dusty's horse, the
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby winner, Sovereignty. He took off the Preakness, which, you know, is a bummer because I think he could have been a Triple Crown horse if he had
Yeah.
ran it.
I hate to interrupt. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, what are your guys' opinions on that?
I think if a horse like Sovereignty wins that Derby, I think you have to go for the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
I that's my opinion. I think it's crazy to just. I don't know. I think you have a shot at history. You have a shot at something very, very, very few horses can do. You'll be, you know,
Yeah.
it's big for the sport as well.
Right.
Like this Belmont is so much bigger if you have a horse going, you know, and the Preakness is so much bigger if Sovereignty's running in it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree. It took a lot of juice out of the Triple Crown this year.
Yeah.
Don't think I can say Billy Mott is probably one of the best trainers in the country, and I think that race took a lot out of him winning in that slot. You know.
Yeah.
And
I agree. And if it's like Rick
he might have
Strike
saw that-
winning,
he might have said, "Well, this horse is spent, and I got it." Because otherwise, yeah, I'm sure he wants to win the Triple Crown too, right? Billy Mott. And what owner doesn't want that? The horse's value goes up tenfold.
Yeah.
yeah,
With the Triple Crown. So I'm sure it's something I'm thinking, Nick, that the horse was just burnt after that Derby. That's the only thing I can think of.
It's interesting though, because like 2 days after the Derby, they shipped right up to Saratoga. So it almost seems like maybe they never had intentions of the Preakness because it's a quick turnaround. I mean,
Well, I think the
it's a lot
training
to
going
ask.
into it,
Yeah,
right? Because I think journalism, obviously, they had full intentions of him running all three of these races,
yeah,
no matter what. They
right.
trained him for it. Maybe they really just weren't expecting that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Anyway,
unfortunate, but
Well, and if they
this
can
is
win
gonna
this
probably
race.
be, this is the real Kentucky Derby to me, this
yeah,
race here, because you're gonna see a great race, and there's four horses that can actually win this race.
right.
And I think the third horse, if we want to move on to Rodriguez, Nick's horse,
Well, really fast, just for common fans. So Sovereignty the favorite, or is like you
He's
guys?
actually the third favorite right
third
now.
favorite.
So
Okay.
it's journalism. Baeza is actually the second favorite right now, and then Sovereignty is third. I think a lot of that is people are just upset that he didn't run the Preakness, and they're not
Yeah.
out of spite. Um, but according to, I mean, his workouts uh, since he's gotten to Saratoga have been great. Everyone's talking about him really highly. Bill Mott even said he's a little more aggressive than he was going into the Derby. So he's either going to win by even better margins here, or I don't know. We'll see. I think it's a 3 horse race. So
I
I
think it's
agree.
interesting that he's saddled next to Rodriguez.
yeah,
That could be a trap for Sovereignty. Because
yeah,
I love Rodriguez. I like Rodriguez. Obviously, I like Rodriguez in the Kentucky Derby. If you guys, anyone listened to the previous podcast, and he's the speed in this race, and I think he's a borderline. Not going to be really bothered by anyone else trying to run with him. Maybe the 5, but I
yeah,
think Rodriguez is going to get off
yeah.
and take this lead.
If there's
Sovereignty,
no one challenges him, if
I
no one challenges,
he could go get
we've
Dwyer.
seen this multiple times, right?
Yeah,
If the 5 horses who also likes to run on the lead, and he's not a good horse, but if the 5 goes with Rodriguez, maybe he can die out. But yeah, if no one goes with Rodriguez and he takes off, it's going to be difficult for these come from behind horses
Yeah.
to catch him.
Well, it could
Except
be
for
just
Baeza.
like
I think Baeza rates pretty well,
yeah.
Dustin. I really like that Baeza, but we'll get to him in a while. So Nick, you
So
like Rodriguez still?
I still like Rodriguez. I think he's the speed. I think he can. I don't think he's challenged as much as you would. My bad, guys. Work. Yeah, I think he's the speed. I think he can take. I think exactly what Emilio's saying. He can take the lead here, and he can run. It does matter, I guess, in the context of the race because we'll get there. But I don't think journalism is going to have the legs to close in this race, and
Yeah.
that's my thinking. So if
Mike, Mike,
it's
Mike McCarthy says he's trained really well coming out of the Preakness, which I'm sure I know the 4 of us obviously watched it. But if anyone didn't watch it, when they came into the stretch and to go towards the finish line, journalism and I can't remember the other horse. It was the Baffert horse. They were like colliding a lot, and it really threw journalism off. And it was a really heroic effort to
it was.
get up and win the race. But a lot of times that can take a lot out of a horse mentally and physically. So they say he's working well, but we'll see. You never know until game day. But real quick on Rodriguez, and then we'll move on. I think to Nick and Emilio's point, like there's no other pace pressure in the race. So if he can get out and he can go, 24 for the quarter mile or something and just kind of ease along, I don't think anyone's going to catch him. It'll be just like his Wood Memorial race, where
Yeah,
he
and
got
then
an easy lead and was just able to kind of go from there,
so it's the whole thing with the Derby and Rodriguez, because this Kentucky Derby was so weird because all the speed was so positioned in the front
Yeah,
that they were all going to kill each other, and it was
yeah,
a perfect closing.
yeah,
It was
Right.
the Derby, the Kentucky Derby was built for Sovereignty this year for Sovereignty journalism and Sandman.
yeah,
It was built for the closer to come in.
yeah,
This race, to me, is built for the speed
yeah,
because they're all going to be trying to close on each other, and Rodriguez might be able to just have a clean, safe run, and no one bothering him. And if it's rainy, there's no mud in his face. He can just move.
I mean, you'll know by the top of the stretch. They turn for home.
Yeah.
And he turns, and Mike Smith, he's got one of the best, right? Mike Smith.
Yeah, it's Mike Smith on him.
Hall
Yeah.
of Fame trainer. He's not gonna burn him out. He can take off at the top of the stretch. Journalism, there's an expression in horse racing called bounce. A horse can bounce off a tough race and I think journalism has a chance of, and I hope not, but I think he can bounce coming out of that Preakness. Like you guys said, I watched the race yesterday again. That was, he ran an incredible race. The fact that he won was, heroic. It was unbelievable.
A lot of people are giving his jockey a lot of grief for putting him in that position anyway. But if he doesn't make that move, he doesn't win the race. Like if he goes outside of the Baffert race, he's never going to catch the 9. Which, by the way, the 9 should have easily won that race. That was also a little disappointing, but.
Let's just quickly go to the 4 horse.
Let's just wipe out the four real fast.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to talk about him. If he beats us, he beats us.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the 4 and the 5 are complete for me. They're complete throwout.
Yeah.
Complete. I don't even, why they're in the race is beyond me. Like maybe to get a paycheck. I don't even think they can come in 3rd or 4th.
I honestly think they were giving Fletcher horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 2 of his horses, correct.
Yeah, so they were just giving Fletcher a couple shots.
And if one of them wins, that means they
fixed the whole thing.
They fixed the whole thing.
Right.
100%.
Was Fletcher the guy getting in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yes. He's a trainer. He's a great trainer.
So they probably said, "Hey, Todd, if you want a couple horses in the Belmont, let us know." Just because
Right. I mean,
it'd be good for the TV, not good for the race.
They don't even belong.
I mean, to go from $100,000 stakes race at Pimlico to the Belmont, I mean, that's a big ask for the 5.
Is the fix
Huge
in?
ask.
They robbing us.
What?
Nothing. Just I was saying.
So let's get back to the 4 and the 5 we're throwing out, correct?
Yeah.
Let's get to the 6. What do you guys think? I love the 6.
I think Beza's going to win. I have Beza Rodriguez. I'm fading both the favorites.
Yeah.
I said this. Oh, you can go, Dust.
No, go ahead.
And Nick, he's not going to let Rodriguez go out.
So what I said, if you guys remember the Kentucky Derby, I said I think Beza is going to be one of the better horses coming out of this field.
Yeah.
He just wasn't ready. He's just going to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And he ran a 101, he ran that 101. He ran a 102 at the Kentucky Derby. I think we might see a 105 from Beza. I think he could take.
I mean, he's a lightly raced 3-year-old. This will only be his 6th race, right? So
he's just going to.
Yeah, for him to improve off the Derby would not surprise me at all. And he was a half length away from absolutely blowing up my superfecta because he almost came in second. Oh, God, I was sweating.
He was all the way out on the 20th, the 19th post.
Yeah.
So he was way out there.
He was 21. He was the also eligible.
Yeah. Once more, the also eligible got me.
Yeah. I kind of, cause since I picked Sovereignty in the Derby, I'm kind of like, I want to stick with him, right? Like that's my boy. But I don't know. For me, it's Baeza's like a sneaky one. I feel like it's one of the things you got to pick 3 horses in first, right? You can't just say
no, you can't.
You got to spend a little extra money.
It's kind of funny, but if you write the write-up for this, his brother Mage won the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
And his other brother Dornoch won the Belmont last year.
Yes.
He's kind of made it's weird, but he's kind of made for this race here.
Yeah. And that mare is unbelievable. Puka.
Puka?
Had a big brown.
Had a big brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the dad, Mackenzie from Street Sense.
Yeah.
Who's a monster, in himself.
Yeah.
As far as breeding goes. So yeah, I like the 6. So, but what do you guys think about journalism? You think you can do it again?
It's so hard to tell because, like I said, they McCarthy said he's been working well. He didn't really have any issues coming out of the race, but um, I don't know.
I think it's done. I think he's done. I
You think
think I
so?
think I don't think he's gonna.
I mean,
I
three
think
races in what, 4 weeks or whatever, 5 weeks, whatever it's been, is
it's a
hard.
lot. And I thought it was valiant for him to go into the Preakness.
Yeah,
He did not have to
Yeah,
do it.
right.
I thought it was good for the sport. It was good. I thought that was great
yeah,
that he
And
did do
there was
that, and
no
I'm happy
reason
he
for him.
won
He could have passed. He could have passed on that race easily, and he didn't.
easily, and he
I'm not
didn't,
going
and
to
he
throw
showed
him
up.
out. So I'm not throwing him out. But I think
yeah,
I'm going to go with 267,
yeah.
and then work around those three.
If
I
Right.
when
think
you,
I'm gonna go 3-6 over 3-6-2 over all.
yeah,
That's gonna be my bet.
But this number 8 horse, this Heart of Honor.
I'm tossing them. I don't know any.
Um, I mean, I don't even get it.
Yeah,
I
Uh,
don't even understand
he's
it.
in
I
the
don't
race, so
even.
you got to look at him, right? You
right.
got to check it out.
It also looks like it's a father-son duo,
Okay.
trainer jockey.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before. Is that new? Is that a first time thing?
I've
Yeah,
never.
maybe,
I mean, you see
maybe.
it with Asmussen a
Because
lot.
now I might
His
bring him
son's,
back. I
but
might bring him back because of that. That might make him a contender now.
that's your angle.
Well, there's
Yeah,
always something weird. No, because when he wins, I'll be like, "What happened?" And they'll be like, "That's the first time a father son duo has ever won."
Yeah,
Is it
Maybe
Father's
they
Day? Because
just
that would
maybe
make
they just
sense.
maybe they just have the same last name.
They could. I'm going to look into this. Obviously, I have to.
put 5 to win on him. What the hell?
Yeah.
yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah,
That's your
Back,
weird sports stat. That's your weird sports stat that
yeah.
makes no sense.
but you want the 8 or the 4 or the 5
It looks like she's a
or the
female.
1 to
She's a
come,
female jockey, Nick.
fourth.
There's a female jockey. Is it a father daughter?
Father-daughter situation going on.
Oh my
Oh
God.
boy.
I'm betting it. I'm betting not to win. Let me
Yeah.
just bet it to win.
Sneaky.
Linda likes
Sports don't make sense.
the 1 and the 7. Just to let you know, Linda likes 1, Hill Road, and journalism.
I
She
think.
had the winner. I forgot to bet her horse on Derby Day.
Oh no.
So she's sitting there, goes, "Oh, I won." I go, "No, you didn't."
I think back to journalism real quick. If you rewatch the race, when they're in the far stretch, the jockey starts to ask him, and he like didn't budge, um, which was weird. So it almost looked like he didn't really want to run that race until it got into the stretch.
And
So
maybe this one they don't, and maybe they don't push him here. Like
yeah,
after the Preakness, maybe they have a little bit of mercy on him.
yeah,
And when he's coming, and if he's not there, because if I'm the trainer, that's what I'm telling my jockey. Look, run him, and if it doesn't look like he has it in him, don't kill this horse.
yeah,
Right.
Pull it back, and
Save it
like
for the travelers.
save it for the Travers. Save it. Yeah,
August.
let's
yeah.
relax.
I
But
think I'm sticking with the 2 here. I'm going to stick with sovereignty.
Yeah, right. So really,
I'm going to believe Belmont. He said he's working well. And if you look at his June 1st workout, that was with he did that workout with Arthur's Ride, who won the Whitney last year, like easily. That horse is fast, and they said Sovereignty stuck right with him through the whole workout and even passed him into the stretch. So I think this horse has another gear. And again, part of it is yes because I picked him to win, and I have a soft spot for him. But
so
I
Dust,
think
I agree. I think
he's a little better than people expect.
Dust, you have the 2. Nick, who do you have winning the entire thing? Just for the common fan.
The 6 or the 2 or the 3.
Well, pick one.
I'm gonna go the 3 just because that's my guy. That's who I picked for the Kentucky Derby, and he got scratched. So
Yeah.
the stupid gambler in me says the 3, big brain man in the suit, the 6.
I hate to pick one because I don't bet one.
Yeah, well,
Well, I'm gonna be betting money line both of those because
I'm
they're
gonna
both
put-
gonna be plus money. I will be betting money on that.
I'll just to have a horse. I'm going to say the 6, but I am going to put 267 and exactor, try, and I'm going to put the super. I'm going to put the 3 and the 1 and third and fourth, and go with it. And I'll
Yeah.
hit. And I don't know if we're going to make any money. I don't think it's going to pay a lot. You know, you
Sure.
have 4 horses that are going to be less than 5 to 1. So it's kind
Oh, but this might be
honestly,
another race where you put some money on it. You just bet Beza at 3
Yeah.
to 1. That's plus 300
They-
for like sports fans. That's plus
Yeah.
300. That's a good money line to bet, and you
Yeah.
have a real chance to win.
if you're a gambler, you need to bet the undercard, the races
Yes.
before this rate. That's where you can make some really, really good money. Wake up early, go through the card, go through the scratches, and then, you know, take a look who we liked in those races, and I think you'll have a good day.
Yeah. There were big
weather's
upsets. Big upsets last year on
Yes.
Belmonte.
Always good upsets, and because you know why, Dusty? Because there's no big favorites
Yeah.
tomorrow. There's no like 3 to 5s,
Right.
in those races.
You gotta pick your thing. You know, you gotta pick your horse. You gotta
Yeah.
however you do your handicapping or your gambling, however you want to say it. Trust in your system and just kind of go with your guys.
Right.
You know, fuck the odds.
Yeah. Like back to race 1, we mentioned Rod Ortiz on an 8 to 1. He was on like a 10, 11, or 12 to 1 on Belmonte last year. Bookham Dano.
Bookham Dano's running again this year.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
in
sure.
a
Yeah, he won it like 12 to 1. I'm like, how did I not see that? You know?
race 5. Ortiz is on both Ortizes are on 12 to 1 horses.
Yeah.
So it's like it's there.
We talk about Ortiz a lot for racing fans because he's the best jockey in the country.
Yeah.
And you have to bet him. It's terrible because if you leave him out, he's going to beat you. And then you put him in, and if he doesn't win,
You put him in on a 15 to 1 and he comes in last, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Race 7's a fun one. People, you should gamble that one. That's Bookham Dano and Nakatomi. It's a fun one.
the True North. Yes, I like
The
that.
True North. Yep.
Yes, and there's only 8 horses. Definitely
Only 8
make some money
horses.
with that.
You can go 4, 5, 6 and put the 2 and 3 underneath it, and
Yeah.
you can make a lot of money there.
I
Yeah.
like that 5 and 6.
Oh, yeah. Bookham Dano won the Woody Stevens last year. That's what it
Yes.
was.
Yeah, he's a stud. He ran 100 buyer. He had a streak. He ran an 86, and then out of nowhere he comes up. Ortiz gets him, and he runs a 100, then a
Yeah.
101, and a 104.
Yeah.
And he never came back from that. So
You know why? Because he whips the shit out of these horses. If you watch him ride, it's hysterical. He goes to town on them. He gets in trouble. He gets suspended he's been suspended quite a few times.
Yeah.
Because he does handle horses very, very aggressively. And they don't like that. That's a good race. I'm definitely gonna
You get Irad Ortiz on the 4 to 1 for Wesley Ward. Who's
tomorrow
like,
I'll start my day with the first race and we'll go from there.
yeah.
If
Nick,
it's a nice day, I'm not gonna sit home all day, so I'll try to just pick a couple of races and try to make some money.
Nick,
Yeah.
are you going down?
I don't know. I got to make some calls today. It looks like everyone's split up here. There are some people who want to go. There are some people who don't want to go. I don't know if I'm going to go. It's very crowded. It's a $75 entry fee ticket,
Yeah.
and I won't have anywhere to sit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather just find a nice, fun bar, even in Saratoga. I wouldn't even go to Saratoga.
Are you allowed
What?
to bring? Are you allowed to bring in your cooler like normal or no?
You can bring in a cooler, but no alcohol. You have to do the water bottle thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's on top of it. So it's
No
like,
beer? You can't bring beer in? We
Mike,
had beer last year.
No, I bought a water bottle for rum.
no, we were drinking water bottle of rum.
Yeah.
So I'd rather find a nice bar, even in Saratoga. It'll be fun down there. You can just go down, just find some bars and watch, in bed and watch.
Yeah.
Or, it's
Track,
weather dependent.
You're gonna have to drop $200 between drinking and getting in.
And I'd rather use that money to just bet it
Yeah,
and enjoy my
exactly.
day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit home. I can drink for free, eat for free,
There you go.
big screen TV, and hang out on the deck.
I love that.
Sounds good. Listen, guys, we're gonna end it on that. I know it sounds crazy, but we just went 50 minutes, so
Okay.
I'm sure.
Well, guys, may the horse be with you. Good luck tomorrow.
Yes.
Good luck, everyone.
Watch that 8 race. You're gonna love
Come
it.
on,
And
Sovereignty. Number 2.
Belmont, at a mile and a quarter, I think you're gonna see a really, really good race. It's
Yeah.
gonna be. I can see 4 horses coming down to the line.
I'll pose one last question before we sign off. Do you think the Belmont Stakes loses a little bit of its kind of pizzazz at Saratoga being a mile and a quarter versus a mile and a half?
100%.
Like it is at Belmont. Yeah. Okay.
For somebody like me who looks at historical races,
Yeah.
but
It's the bubble. It's a bubble. It's like the NBA bubble.
Yeah.
it's happened
Like
before.
if someone won the Triple Crown on this race, it would not be the full Triple Crown.
You could put an asterisk next to it,
Right.
right?
I mean, it's not the first time they in the 60s they closed Belmont and they ran the Belmont Stakes at Aqueduct for 6 years because they fixed Belmont. Back in the 40s, it was run at Jerome Park. So it's not the first time that this has happened.
Sure.
But yes, I agree. Dusty, a mile and a quarter versus a mile and a half is a big difference.
Yeah.
You guys
It's
think
not the test of champions, right?
Right.
you think this new Belmont's gonna be so awesome? You guys are gonna go want to visit it?
I would definitely
very
put
excited to
another
go.
Belmont in my life.
I mean, the fact that they're going to open and get a Breeders' Cup right away is really exciting.
And I used to live about maybe 10 minutes from Belmont Park. So it was, I always used to go every year, and I'll probably go again. Maybe we'll take a ride down in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
The Belmont's going to have the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dusty just
How
said-
far is that from the city for me to get to?
You take the train. It's about half an hour.
Oh yeah, so I'll go quite often.
It's right where we used to live in Valley Stream in Malvern. 10-minute drive. 10-minute drive.
What's the park called? Is it literally called Belmont?
Yeah, Belmont Park.
Yeah, the Kentucky
You know, it's funny. The last time they had the Breeders' Cup, it was the worst Breeders' Cup they ever had. They never went back. It was cold. 2 horses died
Oh, God.
that day,
Jesus.
and they said they will never go back to New York. So I'm surprised they're going back there.
They
Actually,
must have paid a bunch of money to get it back.
yes.
How
yes.
are they doing the Breeders' Cup in November in New York?
It was so cold. I was there. I left.
It's gonna be free. It's gonna be freezing. What are they doing?
What you call it? There was a cloud cover right by the finish line, and one horse died right at the finish line.
Mm.
Everybody freaked out. It was a terrible day.
Tough way to end the podcast. Tough way to end the podcast.
Anyway, get out of here. Have a good day.
See you guys.
Coming up.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.